Hey guys, Knight the Storyteller here, and well, instead of getting another Slinger issue out, P.S. I am currently working on those. I just have college. It's kind of, it's hard to work. Um, but instead of getting the thing that people want, we'll talk about the new DCEU and how I think James Gunn's going to probably get it, how he's going to go about setting it up, and how I think Hollywood's going to do this. Um, for our negative Nancy's, if you can't have fun with this idea, just go away. It's purely just speculation, my own thought. Um, this is just how I see it, and it's my overview. So with all that out of the way, and everything's set up, let's begin. And the definitely the first thing that I think they should do, and probably what they will do, and this is definitely going to be their hardest thing, as they put a lot of money into this, and that's just to completely forget everything to do with the old DCU. There's not really anything that can. There's not. They've had 7 continuous flops in a row. It's it's clear that anything related to that is just not gonna work. And even some good movies, like I liked Black Adam, Blue Beetle, I've heard has been really good. Shazam 1, I've heard is fine. Hell, even the Flash movie I heard is fine. It's just, Ezra Miller. I haven't even watched. I refuse to watch that one. Um, but I won't criticize it at the same time. Um, but yeah, I don't think they should touch it. Don't even think about nothing. Honestly, they probably should try to wait a few years just to let people forget about it, because while I think there was a lot of good movies in it, there's also a lot of bad ones, and they got no momentum. They kind of killed it every time they had it. So I love the actors. I love the movies. I think they got a really good cast for this. Obviously Henry Cavill, but I also think the Aquaman was really good. I think the Wonder Woman was really good. Hell, I was interested in Batfleck. Um, I'm actually still interested in what he could have done if he had his own solo movie, but he didn't, which is fucking crime. But yeah, it's just not worth it as it currently is to continue them. Though obviously Henry Cavill, a lot of these people were really popular. They did really well in their roles, and I do think they should be respected in that way. And obviously, some of them are a lot older now, so they can't really be in like a long movie platform like the MCU. So I think if you could use them as reoccurring characters, that would be cool. Or just have them in multiple movies, and where they're not really a big deal, or if maybe they're a big deal in the first movie, but in subsequent films they're not as important. So that would be like Jason Momoa as Lobo. That would be like Gal Gadot as Cersei. Henry Cavill as one of the Superman characters. You could have him as fucking Jimmy Olsen if you wanted. That would be funny. um, they were all amazing in their original roles, and as much as I love them for it, they just can't carry 20 years of movies on their backs for that long. It's just, you need people who are young. Plus, they're also related to the failed stuff, so not much you can do with that. Um, so at this point, you just want a clean slate, unrelated to everything else. Now, how they could go about this, I see really only two ideas for how they could do this. Um, they either start us in the middle of their universe. Superman's already been Supermaning for like 2 years. Batman already has Robin, or Robin's already graduated Nightwing. He has Jason. You could do Donna Troy. You can do stuff with that. Um, they could start us in the middle universe, or they could bring us into a. They could just start us at the start of the universe, show us the origins of all the characters we already know. Uh, I think both are decent ideas. Both have their drawbacks. Both have their positives. Um, if they do it the way that they kind of tried beforehand, working from the start, that's what Marvel did. It worked pretty good. Um, they should if they were to do this, I would imagine they would do 4 movies before their big team movie. Your Trinity movie. You have Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. They all get their own films, and then they grab like Flash, Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman. That guy gets a fourth movie just so they can kind of have that ready, and then they do their big team movie. Um, the 4 movies would set up the main guys of the main guys of the movies. Your Captain America, your Iron Man, your Thor. Um, but it also gives you a fourth guy, so you can Thor was kind of this fourth guy, but obviously Wonder Woman's gonna take Thor's place and be a little more active. um, this formula worked amazing for Marvel, and copying it is just going to be a basic strategy for them. Uh, I think Green Lantern could definitely do amazing with his own movie. Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, Cyborg. They could definitely hold their own movies, though. It's who would get that fourth movie is definitely a hard decision. I think a fourth movie would be good. Gives them a guy who, once the big three are out of the way, when the big three aren't available, well, who's the next guy? Who steps up? Flash is great for this. Green Lantern's great for this. Grab your if you know if the Trinity are your S listers, grab your A listers. Um, I think no matter what they do though, at the start of this is going to be super rocky. Um, Obviously, good Superman and Batman films are going to outdo anything they could possibly do. Um, and they'll definitely get the momentum. Like Superman and Batman aren't DC. They are DC. DC isn't. How would I best do this analogy? Superman and Batman are bigger than anything else in DC. DC, there's them and then there's DC. It's not DC is them. It's they are so much bigger than DC as a brand that if those characters get good movies, they will do really well. And you know, maybe release some video games. Um, After that, after those movies though, it's gonna be really where the pressure is going to go on very underdeveloped characters. I'm not talking Wonder Woman, I'm not talking Flash, I'm not talking Green Lantern, but one of the major faults of DC, and I'm talking just the comics in general, is the fact that so many characters are they don't have solo runs. They're they've been a thing for decades, but they are really used in teams. Hawk and Dove, the Teen Titans. Uh, you know, uh, the Hawks are I believe the Hawks are mostly a Justice League thing. You have so many characters who are just tied to a team and they don't have their solo comics, and that's something that really hurts DC. Is that oh, I'm so interested in this character. Let's say Ice from Fire and Ice. I love Ice. Oh, she's only ever done things with the Justice League and Guardians of the Globe and all that crap. So now I have to deal with every other character in that team instead of just listening to the character I want to see. It's it's always been a big problem with DC, and it's definitely something that would bite them in the ass for the movies because obviously Marvel does not have this issue, as Marvel's teams also have solos. You have Iron Man in the Avengers. You have Captain America in the Avengers. They have their own rosters. They have their own things they do outside the Avengers. Um, but yeah, I actually think this would be a reason for why they would actually start in the middle of the universe. Kind of why Black Adam has already kind of has the Justice Society. It just allows you to have so many characters that would not be there at the start. Um, you wouldn't have to just put the you wouldn't have to just put everything on Flash and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. You wouldn't have to put this everything on a bunch of characters on just a few characters, because if you do that, if one has a bad movie, especially Superman or Batman, it's gonna be really bad. Um, but yeah, once they get their teams in, once they get Teen Titans, once they have Justice League, once they have the Outsiders, it will be looking way better for DC because that's their thing, teams. Um, Nightwing, Nightwing definitely Nightwing getting a DC getting his own movies. I think is definitely going to be a big thing for the new movies if they can get there. Nightwing is super popular. He has his own comics. He's in many ways he has transcended Batman, but he's also very much so still a DC guy. Definitely think he would be a great one to get movies. Um, you could also do Donna Troy getting movies. I know she has some very interesting plot points, and Miss Martian. I think you would definitely get her, at least give her one movie. Um, but besides that, you have you have a lot of legacy characters who are definitely um, DC. I would say would be better able to, after a bunch of movies, would be able to keep going instead of Marvel. But we'll see. It's all depending on how they decide to do it. This is just how I'm thinking they could do it. And, obviously, I'm not a director. I think James Gunn has a really good track record for how he does things, and I think I have a lot of high hopes for this new series, especially the Batman stuff, as that, I'm a big fan of that. Uh, but yeah, that's the video for today.